One of the most wonderful things in life is ease. Ease is the smoothest way to achieve things. It's like the can opener for the jar you've been trying to open with your hands for ages and always failed. I'm sure you've experienced things where you tried as hard as you could to get the output you wanted. I'm guessing that's not how you managed to get what you thought you wanted. Because that's not the way it works. You can't force anything. No matter how strongly you want it. When you eventually just let go and loosened up about it, it probably worked out. To accomplish things you want to draw into your experience, it's important to enter a flow. You actually need momentum. Everyone knows the feeling when certain situations in life just work. But what brings you into this state? I find there is hardly a logical explanation for this experience. During my past flow states, everything fit together well and then simply happened. I think a few things work together to get you into this desirable state. The most important and fundamental building block in my eyes is being loose. Without looseness, it will be impossible for you to build momentum. I will use an example to explain the whole thing. A man who wants a woman badly and is willing to force a relationship with her at any cost will fail. It doesn't matter how good he looks. As soon as you want something at any cost, you become inflexible. It then seems like the universe is putting huge obstacles in your way. There's a simple reason for that. You become needy. If you desperately need something to be happy, you automatically become dependent upon it. There is nothing more unattractive than a person who is needy. If you've ever experienced what it's like to deal with someone who has this trait, you know what I mean. Independence is attractive. Necessity is the opposite of it. But it's not only like that in relation to women, but also in all other areas of life. In any area of life where you are dependent on something, there is a great probability that this area of life is a weak point of yours. Being relaxed prevents this. When you are loose and relaxed, you don't need anything. Of course, you find certain things desirable and would be happy if they would occur. But you do not make your happiness dependent on them. Thus you are independent and free. The universe loves such people and will always reward them with the greatest treasures that earth has to offer. Women love a man who does not need them and is easygoing. Let's say that a woman walks into a room with several men. Who would she finally choose? The most outwardly attractive, the strongest, the tallest, or the most relaxed? Her choice would definitely become the most relaxed one. Because with ease comes confidence and, above all, playfulness. These are two things that women love. After all, life is nothing more than a game. One possibility. If you're too serious, life will always disappoint you. Life is not designed to be serious. If you observe carefully, you will realize that. But if you want something at any cost, you lose that lightness. Because suddenly there is something at stake. You have something to lose and will most likely tense up. We know this phenomenon all too well. Let's assume you are well prepared for an exam and know the material that is being tested really well. But in the exam situation you get cold feet and don't pass the exam. Or you have, for example, always achieved a time under 8 seconds in sprint training over 60 meters. Now on the day of competition at your school, you are nervous because you want to do very well. Suddenly you start badly and run the 60 meters in 10 seconds, which is lousy by your standards. This is how we often feel in life when we want something too badly. We then simply lack the carefree attitude. We fail to be relaxed and thus fail when it comes down to it. Because without playfulness, we miss the easygoing nature of life. See, life is basically nothing more than a game. The winners in life have understood this and treat life like one. Sometimes you lose at a game and sometimes you win. Very few people would lose their composure just because they don't win one game. It is the same in life. You should not be afraid of losing. Because otherwise you will become too uptight. If you take this to heart, you will be much more relaxed in approaching your tasks and thus significantly increase your chance of succeeding. However, if you still fail, it's half the battle. Successful people have lost countless times before they have won. This is simply the process needed to get better. So play the game of life like the winners and don't be afraid of losing.